We're going to make a cross halving joint, and the tools we will use to make this joint are a mallet for driving the chisel, a steel straight edge for measuring and drawing straight lines, a tape, a combination gauge which is a mortise gauge and a marking gauge, a tenon saw, and a set of beveled edge chisels. This is a drawing of what we're about to make, showing details and the sizes of the component. We start off by selecting our two pieces of timber and placing on them a face side and face edge mark. This is essential because it's the face side and face edge mark that is going to tell us which side to gauge off and which side to square off. We find the centre of our piece of timber, which we're going to work out at 85 millimetres. Putting a mark on the centre, we now measure the width of the timber, and we measure that at 44 millimetres. So we're marking in from the centre line 22 millimetres, which positions the edge of the timber. Using the stock of the square on the face edge, we square the line across the face. We position the piece of timber so as it just practically covers the line, and we mark it on the other side. We put the square back on there and we square the line across the face again at the exact width. We now square the lines halfway down, or just over halfway, because we don't want too many lines on. The more lines we have on, the more likely we are to get it wrong. That piece is now set out, and off this one we will now set the next one. But we've got to note that the second piece will have the housing cut out on the opposite side to the face. So the lines will need to be on the underside. We're now setting out the depth of the housing, which is halfway across, which should be 16 millimetres. So we've kept the gauge off, and by gauging off the face side we're leaving on the same as we're taking out, so the joint should be level. Note in this case we're handheld doing the gauge. We should really be in the vise to make the piece of timber secure and to be able to hold the gauge with both hands. But we're doing this so you can see better on the camera what's happening. We're highlighting the gauge lines with the pencil line so we can see easily when we're cutting them out. And we set both pieces out at the same time. Couple of draws back with the saw to make a little nick to put the saw in, and once we've made that little mark we draw the saw back along the line. When we've got the track we remove our hand away and we saw square down to the bottom of the housing. Same again on the other side, making sure that we're sewing on the waste part of the timber, leaving our lines just on the edge. Now removing the centre portion of the housing, and if you can see we've got the chisel upside down so the bevel is to the bottom. This makes it slightly easier when we're cutting uphill there and helps to prevent breakout on the back of the joint. Note we don't go all the way through, just halfway, and then eventually we level off the bottom of the housing. Note that we're doing a little bit of handwork here with the chisel, and both hands are on the chisel guiding it so we cannot possibly slip and cut our hands. Safety is always an important part of any joinery operation. Sharp tools will cut very easily. We're now levelling off the bottom of the housing, and it should be either perfectly flat or slightly dipped in the middle. We're cleaning up the edges, just getting the timber out of the corner so the joint will fit nicely and crisply together. And we try the two pieces of timber together now, and yes, miraculously they are a perfect fit, and we have produced a perfect cross halving joint.